don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
The last American.
Hey, welcome back to another episode
of the Last American Podcast. This is episode 8, we think.
Someday we'll find out.
Someday we'll go through the episodes and figure this out.
Get through the order, right? All right. So first up, we got Europe is doing a choke out on Americans. They're like, you know what? You've been making us get visas to come to America, which is like not a real visa. Like if we had to go to Russia, you would have to get like a real visa. But this is like some like nonsense like money grab, which is just like $8.
Well, I mean, $8, but a lot of people travel to Europe, so I mean, I guess the $8 like will add up. And then they said that the amount of time you're able to have it is for 3 years, or when your passport expires, then you would have to get another one.
Okay, which is interesting because the passport lasts 10 years, right?
Yeah.
So you get to get it every 3 years. So you get to get 3 in the time of every passport.
Well, what kind of qualifications do you have to get it? I mean, are they checking criminal records, credit records? Like, what are they checking?
I don't know. Almost half of Americans are illegal, so I don't know. I don't know if they're going to go to Europe or not. So that's an interesting thing. Europe apparently has been doing this to, or America's been doing this to Europeans forever. I guess I don't even know. I'm not living over there right now, so I don't know if that's true or not. But they're doing it to us, and apparently they told us reciprocity. So next up, we got, what is this? The media keeps talking. The media keeps saying that the economy's great. Why do they keep saying this?
Well, I mean, I think the whole thing is that they're just trying to portray that if the economy is bad, but the media keeps telling you it's good, that like maybe nobody will notice. And it's funny because they skewed the unemployment numbers. We didn't used to count part-time workers on unemployment.
Right.
And then now we count, so we're looking at totally different unemployment statistics than we have previously, because now we're counting unemployed workers as full-time workers.
Should we even bother to mention that Joe Biden has been trying to say the jobs that were lost during the pandemic and then regained as in new job growth?
Yeah.
Like, are we just going to ignore that he's doing that? And everyone's just like, everyone kind of ignores it because he's an old senile idiot, so we just ignore that he keeps doing this. But like, he's been really ramping it up. Like, I have the biggest job growth of any president. Like,
well, it's like nobody was working.
Like okay, old man.
Not nobody, but like a lot. You know, I mean, I'd say, you know, through the pandemic, 35% of society probably wasn't working at one point. You know,
more.
Yeah. So I mean, that would be my guess.
Yeah.
But not just that, saying the economy is doing great just off unemployment numbers, but it's like,
well, the inflation's been just started to like chill out. It's been going heavy forever.
I'm worried that because in Canada and other European countries they tried to let off the interest rates early, and then inflation just took back off again. So it's kind of like, okay, we're kind of like, the numbers they're reporting say we're in the high 3% inflation growth, but I mean, really, when I look at everything, we're actually in the low 4s for inflation, so we're still not even halfway there. My prediction is interest rates are gonna have to get near 10% to like, and hold for till at least 2025 to like really.
We haven't even gone to the foreclosures of corporate, the commercial businesses yet, so that's who we're really going to crush their loans, dude.
Yeah, well, I mean, you see banks now too. They're starting to. I mean, even if you qualify for a loan, they're kind of still just like, hey, like, you're kind of too much risk right now. Like, we're not gonna, you know, the banks are being more choosy with who they're giving money to.
Except for student loans.
Yeah,
they just give any moron student loans.
Yeah,
they're like, oh, by the way, you can't file for bankruptcy.
You know, and that goes back to the economy. I mean, nobody's paid on their student loans the whole time, so it's like we can't even say we're in a good economy until things go back to normal. You know, and it's like when you look, the stock market is rallying. But I think a lot of things in the stock market are overvalued as well right now. So it's like
I don't even know what to look at the markers for the stock market anymore. It's like completely fantasy land.
Funny. It's funny when you look at the stock market. You know, it's like my charts, like pre-pandemic, were like sideways, like very small growth, very small losses, and then the pandemic happened, and I mean, just massive swings every single day. You know, and it's a very interesting time, I think. Something.
So we're gonna mention Obama chef died in a pond outside the Obama estate, in Martha's Vineyard.
The economy's great. Chefs don't die.
Just like the craziest story of all time. Like, first of all, your personal chef is on a stand-up paddleboard outside your house in a pond, and he just drowns.
Well, it's funny because there's videos of this guy swimming.
Yeah.
Like, he's like a strong swimmer, so it's like kind of weird. And then I'm not sure I can verify the source, but I saw one source saying that the police wouldn't say who made the call that they found the body, and that they made the call from 2 miles away from the lake. So, like, you know, I'm sure the paddler had dirt on Hillary Clinton would be my... Or it's Trump's fault, you know? I mean,
so that's the media's favorite thing, is to say, well, if we can't explain it through any logical means, we'll just say Trump is involved, and we should indict him for murdering this guy in Obama's pond.
I mean, maybe, I can't be all cynical. I mean, maybe, you know, the guy could have been paddling, had an undiagnosed condition, had a seizure, and drowned. You know, that is totally possible. But also, the odds of dying stand-up paddleboarding in a pond are incredibly, incredibly low. And a young, healthy man at 43, I mean, it does kind of reek of something suspicious.
It's very unusual. There's a lot of shady stuff going on. Maybe we should just jump to the Hunter Biden story, because that's really, like, kind of connected. Hunter Biden just got he had the sweetheart deal, which everyone just accepted because the justice doesn't work for people that are in political power, including, we're going to get to this later, but the insider trading that's been going rampant for decades.
Yeah.
So none of that matters, and we got to put Martha Stewart away for insider trading for years. But, like, forget about Nancy Pelosi, who's made like $500 million. So Hunter Biden has got this deal, like, he slap on the wrist, like, parking ticket deal, where he completely lied and he was doing drugs. The gun he had illegally, like, he's like, oh, do you do drugs? He wrote no on the thing. Do you do drugs? And are you da 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 da, like all the stuff. He completely lied on his form. Then the gun that he bought illegally through lying on the form, his girlfriend, like, threw in a dumpster behind a high school and just left it there. It's, like, so ridiculous. Okay, so they come out to they actually had a court date for the sweetheart deal to say if this was going to go forward, and the prosecutor was like, hey, if you agree to this deal, and then the defense said, hey, does this mean that no liability will happen in the future, and this no future causes will be charged to this plaintiff? And then they said, no, this is just for these specific matters. Like, you don't get, like, unlimited amount of amnesty forever. And then they're like, well, no deal then. No deal. Like, if we just don't get off scot-free, we're just not going to take the deal. So the judge said, okay, take a recess, go negotiate. So they go negotiate, and apparently, this is not supposed to be known, Merrick Garland, like, made the phone call down from the Department of Justice and said, give him, like, the most insane deal of all time. Like, just say, like, he'll never get prosecuted for anything in his entire life from now on. And then they came to the court with that, and the judge was like, I've been a judge my entire life, or, like, for as long as I've been a judge, and I've never seen anyone get a deal like this. This doesn't even make any sense. I'm going to say I'm not going to accept this as a deal, and I'm going to kick it back to you guys, and you guys have to figure out something that makes sense, because this is, like, crazy. So she threw it out. So now...
Good for her.
So now, literally, all these other things that Hunter Biden has done, these are, like, the minorest things he's getting charged for. There's a lot of other stuff, like embezzlement, racketeering, so
he's living his best life.
So that's and everything has been sheltered and hidden away, right? Like, the FBI have had this laptop for 2 years, or almost. They've had it for 2 years, and then they told that they had it. So it's been a disaster, and there's tied to the Obama chef dying. We'll never figure out what's going on.
Well, I think so. So here's what I really think is going on: is the only reason that I think they tried to hide the Hunter Biden investigation.
Yeah.
They're like, Hunter Biden is going to trial, and they're like,
yeah,
let them know aliens exist.
Yeah. Oh,
You know,
they love
that will distract them.
Oh my
if
God.
we just give hard proof, and nobody really seemed to care that they're like, we found aliens.
So the guy came to Congress and said, not only do we have UFOs, like unmanned, like alien technology that flew to Earth, we have the biologics. Like, we have the pilots.
Well, it's weird to me that they said the biologics, because like then I was like, so like, was this guy like a puddle of goo? Like,
Yeah.
do you have like an arm?
Well,
do you have
also-
like a whole body? Like, biologics is like a very loose term to describe.
It also intercedes with Alex Jones's theory that there were machine elves living in a different dimension, so they don't exist in the physical plane, so they actually wouldn't be biological. So this is contradicting Alex Jones, so we'll never know what's real or not.
Well, it's just very alarming to me that, like, first of all, they're like, okay, I mean, this guy basically came out and said, okay, you guys have covered this up, so it's like, okay, the government's lying.
Mm-hmm.
You should be on it. I'm sure they had to stop it to stop hysteria, blah, blah, blah. And it's funny, this time, 2023 is so crazy. Like, aliens exist and, like, doesn't even really make the front page. But, I mean,
the news media is doing
and
their
also, I
best
can't
to
say-
ignore almost every story. Like, it's crazy. Like,
well, because they're just like, the economy's great.
No,
aliens
what?
exist.
No, they're like, Trump is being Trump. Whatever Trump's doing, it's like a Trump circus on the TV.
I mean, I just think it's really weird that, like, you know, but also I don't know how credible this guy is that, like, came out and said,
apparently,
you know, they all apparently are, like, credible people, but, like,
is a top guy inside the intelligence community, and he's talked to, like, a corporal in, like, the Defense Department Special Division, and, like, it all checks out, and everything checks out, and so it's like there's no... It's mainly like he didn't actually see any of this stuff, so he's just reporting what someone came and told him who's way high up in the scale. So
that's not very credible.
Until we actually...
I was expecting him to drop an alien body on the desk and let him know. What's even weirder, though, is all the memes that are coming out. And it's
I don't know what is wrong with people, but they're like... I don't know what is going on, but, like, everyone wants to have sex with aliens right now. It's like all over the internet. I know. There's no context to put that in. Like, I was gonna try to rephrase it, but there's no way to put this. Like, I don't know what's going on.
I mean, the memes are pretty funny.
They're coming hard and fast.
Yeah, they're coming hard and fast for sure.
Yeah.
But the thing is just like it's kind of hilarious that, like, we could be potentially getting invaded, and these things are coming down for war, and we just have idiots.
So is this supposed
trying
to cover up the no votes on the insider trading that went down? Is that what, like, which story are they trying to cover up? The fact that, like, Nancy Pelosi and Dianne Feinstein and all these other people that just randomly got rich, like, through insider trading, like, just voted no on a bill that would repeal the idea that people in the House could trade stocks while they're represented.
I mean, I in my opinion, anyone who sits in any form of office should be audited annually. You should get your flat salary, and then that's what you're dealing with. You know, I mean, there's no way. I mean, I think
even if you want to give them a sweetheart deal and give them, like, a flat tax or something, but, like, this idea that they could just make decisions about the entire population and be like, oh, by the way, I'm going to short this because you guys are going to get F on this deal I'm about to make. You know,
it's really, I mean, it's really wrong. And I mean, not just that, but what's it called when people, like, when you're going to get a deal in business, or, like, when you're going to sign up and people are like, hey, you know, I'll support you, the campaign contributions, like, all that stuff, in my opinion, like, shouldn't be allowed, and it steers the moral compass of the company, or not the company, of the country, in, like, really the wrong direction.
Speaking of cash grabs, Vegas. Well, first of all, Vegas is all about stealing your money, right? Like, they're like, whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, which is basically your money, right?
Yeah.
And apparently F1 has found out that they could just ring up the price to, like, $1 trillion for, like, one ticket to go see a car race. And which is insane because people thought that Miami was insane, like charging $1,500 or $2,000, and Vegas is like, check this out. How about $3,000 to $35,000 for any ticket? Any ticket to get in is $3,000 to $35,000.
I mean, I wonder how they're going to stop the people
Dude, they
From their
oh
hotel
my
rooms.
god!
Like, how can you watch from your hotel
I
room?
almost forgot that they're gonna do this. This is the most insane thing they're doing. They want to. They're basically like a mafia. They come up to every business that has a skyline and said you have to pay the max occupancy of this place, and we'll maybe give you a sweetheart deal at $2,000, the max occupancy per person. Like just imagine if it's $200 to the Sky Bar.
Yeah.
That's 200 times $2,000.
Yeah, yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, I mean, I can totally see it.
And then if they don't do that, they said they're gonna like billboard their window so they can't see. And I'm like, what the hell? And they're gonna do this to everyone. It's the craziest shakedown.
Yeah,
so it's not even about the people that go. It's the people that are like just like running a business in Vegas are getting the shakedown, dude. It's like the Sicilian mafia is coming.
Well, I mean, but what about the people that can view from their rooms? Like,
they're gonna have to pay.
The shades are coming down.
Someone knocking on the door.
Yeah, you owe us $2,000 for this car
It's
race.
like, yeah, okay. So what do we got? We got, the Academy of the Arts has apparently decided that they have a Roy Kroc McDonald's game plan, which is instead of like running a nice art college where you like become like a graphic artist or a fine artist or anything like that, like maybe work at Disneyland or Disney itself, like animation. They're like, that's cool, and that's a fine, neat thing that we could do. Or we could just get into real estate super heavy, like, and just run a real estate company, and then as a facade of an art institute.
Well, I mean, so from what I've heard, I don't know a lot about art school, but I have heard that it's a really nice school. But essentially, it's a for-profit college, and they've just been buying real estate the whole time, and they're actually the biggest landholding company in San Francisco. So I mean, really, for an art school, they should be teaching business. Which was
a great investment until they ran San Francisco into the dirt. Like they were probably making 4x their like.
Oh, they made way more than
like
4x.
it's crazy.
Sure. I'm not sure how long they've been.
They were like, we don't even need students.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. We just charge our students rent. You know.
Oh my god, it's too crazy. All right, last story. Car markups, dude. What are they doing?
You know what's funny is just like the car markups right now. We were looking at an Acura Type S earlier, which in my opinion should be about $35-40K, and they're asking $83,000. $83,000 for an Acura, and it's like, man, these pre-pandemic you could have bought a used Lamborghini for the low 100s, you know, and now you're buying an Acura for close to 100, like, you know, and also what I've seen is that all these vehicles that were manufactured throughout COVID are, and not just vehicles, but construction equipment, everything that was manufactured during COVID, during the supply chain issues, and then kind of forced through, is all having major mechanical and electronic issues.
Well, there's no one there to even care to look at it. Like,
so
there's nobody inspecting anything.
So it's like people.
By the way, I'm not at work. I'm at home.
Yeah,
I'm at the home office.
Yeah, working remote. So it's funny because not only are you paying, you know, well over asking price for this car, you're paying an outrageous interest rate on a depreciating asset, and then the vehicle itself is more than likely going to have a ton of recalls and stuff. And I'm just blown away at the American consumer because it's like, why would you continue to spend?
Have it now.
They have to have new stuff now, and it's like.
What are they gonna do with all this OnlyFans money, dude?
Yeah,
they gotta use it.
Yeah, dude. Apparently, everyone's raking in cash. I'm not sure, and the economy's going great. And
this has been the last
last American podcast. Have a good night, guys. That was actually super short, bro.
That's it.
19 minutes.
Yeah, we're only a minute short. We're totally